Joining us with more now on the emergency plans for Irene is FEMA Administrator Craig Fugate. Sir, good to have you back with us this morning. Of course, the emergency declaration in North Carolina, is that something you expect to see really today and over the next couple days, continuing those direct declarations up the coast as Irene makes its way?
Yeah, when the governors are getting their teams together to start evacuating, one of the things that we do is we get teams in there, get supplies in there. But they also can look at, to the federal government and request from the president assistance. And we don't wait necessarily till the hurricane hits. If they got large evacuations, we're prepared to support that both with resources but also with declarations based upon their request.
And of course, that then makes the resources easier to get once there is that declaration. There is so much concern, obviously, here in New York City about Manhattan and how this area around Manhattan could handle a storm of this magnitude. How is this changing the way you do things when you're dealing with a major metropolitan area, millions of people who, for a lot of reasons, cannot evacuate in many areas?
Well, that's why we've been working with the state of New York and the Office of Emergency Management there as part of Mayor Bloomberg's team. They've been doing hurricane and catastrophic planning there for some time because they know the vulnerabilities of the boroughs and what can happen when the storm comes that way. So, again, this is the partnership of the work that Joe Bruno's team does there in the Office of Emergency Management, the leadership of the mayor, the leadership of the governor, and then us supporting them. So it's really time for the public to learn about those plans and get ready. You got a little bit of time, but not much more.
Yeah, not much more. Stock up today. Have that plan ready. We're hearing numbers, at least 55 million people could be affected by this storm at the end of the day. And looking at some of these areas which are going to be hit, people think back to Katrina. They think about the damage that was left in the aftermath. Is that an accurate comparison to look at that aftermath and think that that is what we could see after Irene is done with the U.S.?
Well, I think in some places along the coast, particularly in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, we will see a lot of structural damage. But I think for a lot of folks, it's going to be flooding and power outages. Of that 55 million, I think a lot of those folks will be experiencing, damaging winds that are going to knock trees down, not necessarily destroy homes, but the impacts of flooding, flash flooding, and power outages will impact a lot of folks. The folks that will see the most dangerous winds and the most devastating impacts are probably those that are in the coastal areas where they do see storm surge flooding.
Yeah, and those power outages could last a very long time depending on where you are. FEMA Administrator Craig Fugate, thanks for your time this morning, sir. We know you're a busy guy these days.
Thank you.